Okay, hi guys, welcome to Mermaid Cove. My name is Tara and I talk all things manifestation, tarot, and soul purpose. I have been through my fair amount of stuff over the last 6 years, and so I know what it's like to be at the start of your soul purpose journey. You feel lost, you feel scared, everyone tells you it's going to be okay, but truth is they have no idea what it's like to be in your position because they have work. And I was in a position about 6 years ago where I had just come out of a very toxic, narcissistic relationship. I had a 4 month old and I didn't have a job. I moved in with my parents and had no idea what to do with my life. And whilst everyone around me was telling me that, no, don't worry, it's all going to be okay, it's fine, like they were very supportive, but at the end of the day, they really had no idea what it was like to be in my position. They were working, they had a job, they had something, and all I wanted was direction. I felt lost, I felt alone, I was scared, I was crying. So I'm like, how am I going to support my child? And when even if you have a job and you're miserable, you want to get out, but you have no idea what that next step is, it you know, it's overwhelming. And I just remember thinking to myself, I just want better for myself. I know that if I'm happy, my child's going to be happy. So I really wanted to be living a life worth living. So then my child is the happiest she can be. And we're not here to live a miserable life. We're here to explore and have fun and be creative and put ourselves, as scary as it is, we actually do need to put ourselves in positions of where it feels uncomfortable. And this was what was happening to me. I was forced into a place of going through a dark night of the soul. I had no choice. I just knew that I wanted better for myself, so I left. And I had no financial income coming in, like nothing. And what happens is your body is always telling you what it needs. But it's always the scariest thing to do. It's to leave that relationship, to leave that job, to go travel overseas, whatever it may be. It will always put you in a position that is scary as all hell. You don't know what the next steps are. And when I'm making it sound like very horrible, but it is so exciting. You get used to being in the uncomfortable, you get used to it. And Dr. Joe Dispenza always says, a neuroscientist, he has proven how manifestation works. You have to enjoy the journey, not the destination. And for years I was locked in, like, I just want direction. Just give me direction. And then when I had direction, it's like, okay, I'll be happy once I have this. I'll be happy once I have that. And every person I would like watch videos of, people who would give talks and stuff, they always said, you will always be happy when, but you have to get happy now. And that is one thing that I did learn. I had to get happy now. And so, whilst all this was going about trying to find, because I lost myself in my relationship too, so I was finding out what I even liked, what I didn't like, but I knew I was going to do life right. And when you don't listen to your gut, when you don't listen to it, as I said, like, your body's always telling you something's not right, if you're feeling unhappy, that is being out of alignment. We need to start listening to our body, because if we don't, the universe takes it out of your hands and does something drastic. You're either made redundant, or you're fired in some kind of way, or your relationship drastically ends. I mean, that's what happened to me. My relationship drastically ended. My body was telling me, it was telling me all these signs that this isn't right, you need to leave. It was telling me for a long time, but I ignored the signs. And then it all just exploded in my face. And I was forced in a position where I like I had nothing. I had to start my life all over again. And you may be in that position. And so finding, like, knowing what that next step is and knowing what to do is the hardest part. And when you start following your soul purpose, yeah, like, you won't know the next 5 steps ahead. that's when you know you're on the right path, because you will never know. And as I said before, you do get comfortable being in that space. You do. And it becomes exciting. But all control is taken out of your hands, and that is what is scary, when when you have no control over your life and you just have to see what comes in. And that's where manifestation happens, because when you're manifesting, when you're trying to control a situation, you're putting up resistance. Where when you have no control, there's no resistance. So you just have to wait for things to just come in because it's out of your hands. And what you need to do, and it may not happen straight away, but you need to ask yourself, okay, how do I want to be feeling in life? What am I curious about? Start listening to your thoughts, because these are leads. These are leads, are your thoughts. And your thoughts will be something that is so illogical that you won't think that it will lead to anything, or you can make money from that. I'll quickly tell you what happened. I started listening to my thoughts. This is how I started the next steps. This is how I started getting direction. This is how I found my soul purpose. And it's a journey, mind you. It's not like, yep, this is your soul purpose. That is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a massage therapist, or you're supposed to be a tennis player. Like, it's not like that. You discover as you go along. This is why it's so highly important to listen to your thoughts. The good ones, of course. Because you literally, like, won't have a clue what road's going to take you down. Because listen to this story. So I started listening to my thoughts. I started getting curious about what I was curious about. Like, okay, like, what is my thoughts telling me to do? And, you know, like, I was not a spiritual person. I did not believe in angels, manifestation. Well, I hadn't really heard of manifestation, to be honest with you. I hadn't heard of law of attraction. I was not a spiritual person. I would always roll my eyes at it all. Anyway, this was my spiritual awakening. This will most likely be yours too. Anyway, had never gone to see a psychic before, and I was so lost. I was so in the dark. I'm like, I just need some clarity. I just need direction. So I decided that I would go see a psychic for the first time. And so I went to a very reputable one. Hearing like through friends of friends, not one that, you know, can see through your Facebook and stuff and just, you know, say what you want to hear. So I went and booked that. And she did a bit of tarot card reading, as well as like just psychic work, just, yeah. And the things that she said, it was not on my Facebook, it was not on social media, like there was just no way that she could know these things. And I went home, and like she was spot on. And I went home like, how did she know that? And by the way, I was 27 years old, and she told me that when I was 33 is when I would meet my next person. I'm like, 33? Like, that is so far away. That was scary news. That was scary. And at the time, I intuitively knew that I had to get comfortable, because I just came out of a very toxic, narcissistic relationship. Having a child, you don't want to go through that again. I knew that I had to learn how to be on my own. That's a whole nother video, okay? But I knew that I wasn't going to be dating just anybody. I had to get comfortable being on my own, and that was extremely uncomfortable. You know, prior to my ex, I was always dating someone. And I knew that I just needed to find myself. I needed to find my happiness. I needed to be on my own for a while. So intuitively, I knew that was just something I had to do. So that girl was like, 5 years, Jesus. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I came home. I'm like, how did she know all this stuff? And I just Googled how to be psychic. Okay, this is me listening to my thoughts. This is me listening to my curiosity. How do you learn to be psychic? And then I found out that everyone is born psychic. It's just as we get older, we lose our abilities. We don't get taught to embrace them and use them. So everybody is psychic. As we get older, you just need to get more back. You just have to learn how to get back in touch with your natural state of being. Because I'm like, I want to learn how to be able to read people's energies, not through the tarot, but like just like pick up on these things. And so then I started getting into like opening up the third eye. I started getting into teaching myself the tarot. I started doing like psychic practice circles, So it was like one thing that led to another, and it started off just being like, I just need direction. I was going to go see a psychic, and now it's led me down this whole other path. I then started to learn about Reiki. I then started watching YouTubes on Law of Attraction, found Gem Goddess on YouTube, found Dr. Joe Dispenza, started reading his books. It then led me down a road of this thing called Law of Attraction. I'm like, whoa, what is all this stuff? You mean I'm like, my life doesn't have to be the way it is? You mean I can consciously create my life and financial freedom? And it was so relieving to know that I was not alone in this world, that this just wasn't my life, and my life can be great. And through practicing and using the tools of law of attraction with visualization and motion every single day, it's not just a one-off thing that you do, it's you do it every single day, you can take control of your life and mold it into what you want it to be. And then this job fell into my lap. It was the most amazing job. I did not, like, I was then going through court. Like, things get worse before it gets better. When you are trying to do better for yourself, it looks like things are getting worse, but it's actually making you stronger. So, because then I was going through like a court battle with like a narcissistic person over our daughter, and that was horrendous. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It it was horrifying. It was a horrifying chapter of my life. And I'm like, I'm trying to do all these things. I'm trying to better myself, but things are just getting worse. Anyway, like, I just couldn't work. Through all of this period, there was just no way I could work with all of this on my mind. And anyway, at the perfect time, at the time that I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm still going through my court, but I'm kind of getting used to court now because it was a 5-year court battle. But at that time, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm getting used to it now. It's not like it's scary as hell, but I'm getting used to it. So it was at a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to find a job now, I think. And before I even like went to type up my resume or even ask for work, this job through a friend, this woman came into her place of work. She works in a clothing shop. She's like, oh, by the way, do you know anyone that is looking for a job in beauty therapy, has a Reiki certificate? I just completed my Reiki. So this is like a wellness center where we do facials and massages, but it's a wellness center. So it's very deep emotional healing work. People who are going through some kind of trauma, like myself, coming out of a narcissistic relationship, people who are trying to overcome like a death of a family member, going through divorce or some kind of breakup, going through cancer or has gone through cancer. They all come here to heal. Anyway, so the owner came into the shop, was like, yeah, so do you know anyone looking for work? And I had just gotten in contact with this friend 3 months prior. We hadn't seen each other in 10 years. Crazy. And she's like, oh, actually, I do. And so this woman gives me a call, and it, it basically wasn't even an interview. I like did a massage, and she's like, yep, you're perfect. And then I went on a complete soul's journey working there. It opened me up to so many things, and you go on a healing journey within yourself working at this place. And so this is what happens when you just start listening to your curiosity, and then things start manifesting because you have released control. Like you have to give up control. And things will get worse before it gets better. That may most likely happen. But the thing is, a lot of people are too scared to do something different because it doesn't make sense or it's illogical. I'm now a tarot reader, I am now a psychic, and now I'm a coach, um, helping people find direction going on their journey. And it really is just picking up the breadcrumbs. Like, you're never going to know what is 5 steps ahead. You just have to pick up the breadcrumbs as it comes along. Listen to your thoughts, listen to your curiosity. I've recently started taking up hoop class because, I'm finally over my court case. I've learned so much at this wellness center. Like, I just wanted to get myself financially stable and in some kind of career job role. And now that I've got myself set, now I can start doing things for me. So now I've taken up hula hooping classes because that's something that I enjoy, and you need to look after yourself. You have to be selfish because to an extent. Because if you, as I said, like if you're happy, your kid is happy. You have to make time for yourself outside of your career. Like I love what I do. Like my hobby is my job. But you have to have something outside of that as well. And maybe you start off just doing hula hooping. Maybe that is the next step that you do. You may find that turns into learning acrobatics, which then turns into dance or something else. Like, it won't make sense. It won't make sense. You just have to go along with it. Yes, it's scary as all hell, but we've been taught to listen to our logical brain, get a job, work. We haven't been taught, and slowly now we are realizing that it's not the way of life. You can earn money doing whatever it is, even if it is hula hooping. In some kind of way, you'll turn it into your own unique thing. It's about finding yourself, finding your own rhythm, finding how you like to do things. It's getting to know who you are all over again, because you never got that chance. You just went after school and got into a job, or came home from traveling after school and got a job. Now we're reconnecting with ourselves. Maybe it's yoga, and then you learn to become a yoga teacher. And then you start teaching yoga in Bali or overseas, or you set up your own studio, like whatever it may be. And it's not the end destination. Then you'll find that you'll want more, and you go off and do something else. You study something else. It's an ever evolving thing. It is a journey. It's never a destination. It's a journey. So my advice to you is listen to your curiosity. Now, nothing may even come to mind right now when I say that to you. It took me a while to realize what is that I was even curious about. But the fact that you have asked your mind, you have asked yourself, what am I curious about? Your conscious mind will start filtering through all these things, and it will eventually give you an answer. It could be tomorrow, it could be in a week, it could be in a couple of weeks, it could be a month. Okay? When that thing drops in about what you're curious about, maybe it's gardening, maybe like flowers is your thing, and then you start doing like a floristry course. Like, it would just be something that doesn't make sense. Or something that your family will be like, oh, I don't know, like, I think you should just get a regular job, you know? But just wait, be patient. If you don't have the answer straight away, be patient, because I promise you, it will drop in. And it will be frustrating that you're not receiving the answer, but you will. It's just because, like, you know, when you are trying to, like, you're in conversation with someone and you forget that celebrity's name, or that just that person's name, and you go home and it drops in, like, oh, I've got it. And then you have to call your friend and be like, oh, this was the person I was talking about, or whatever. That's how it works, because at the time, like, you are trying so hard to think of something that's the resistance. And so, like, when you're driving, it will just bloop, like you're singing a song, and bloop, it will just drop into your mind. So just be patient and just wait, because I promise you it does come. If you would love more videos on manifestation, soul purpose, tarot, subscribe to me. Another thing that I do is you can book in on my website. I'll link it below. Is Insightful Tarot. It is so insane. We delve into the subconscious and we get to find what is going on. We can find out what those next steps actually are, because it like, this session is 90 minutes. And we dive into what's going on here and underneath there and underneath this, and eventually we get to the root of your question. It can be a yes or no question. It can literally be anything. What are my next steps? Like, it can be anything. So I highly recommend booking in for that reading. It is mind-blowing. You will uncover so much that you were not consciously aware of. So book in for that. You can do it on Zoom, or you can come in person. But that's it for today. Watch out for my next videos. Please subscribe and like this. I do want this to be like a great community of people. So comment below, discuss within yourselves, and let me know what other content you'd like me to make. Okay, bye!